Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results. Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 3232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with. Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
All right, ladies, there's only one spot left in my fantasy football league and 2 of you.
Why don't we flip a coin?
I prefer a more old-fashioned approach. 2 of you walked into this room, but only one's walking out. No, I was kidding. No, I was kidding. Tom, you're in the league. Bill, you're insane.
Armchair.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Make sure to keep it locked in here on Armchair Quarterback Radio. We're not one-trick ponies. We cover the entire NFL, past and present.
3rd down and 6 at the 9. And Bo Jackson to the 20 and out in front. And only one man to beat, and Easley can't run him down. He had the angle, but there goes Bo. And nobody catches Bo. Touchdown. Dion. Back when he started and then turns the corner into Giant territory and leave it to Dion to break it open for a touchdown. What a run. Dion comes in as a receiver. Sanders. And they're going his way, but there's double coverage, and somehow Dion is able to beat the coverage. Intercepted by Sanders. Can he score again? Yep. There he goes. Dion Sanders, 71 yards. And so for Dion tonight, a 59-yard punt return for a TD, a 55-yard pass reception, a 39-yard punt return, and a 71-yard interception return.
What is something that your dog does that you just don't even think twice about, but anytime anyone else sees it, it's kind of shocking or weird? I'll go first.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Make 2021 your year. Learn with purpose with the Great Courses Plus. You'll have unlimited access to enlightening, engaging, in-depth video and audio courses on hundreds of topics taught by incredible professors. And you can learn anywhere, anytime with the Great Courses Plus app. What purpose awaits you? Find out today with a free trial. Sign up at thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio. Remember, thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Did y'all hear that a new law went into effect on Tuesday that means that debt collectors can now contact you via social media? Yeah, Facebook, Twitter. Do you still have your MySpace? I would shut it down if I were you.
I'm up. Biggest pick of the draft. 5th pick, 6th round. TJ Houshmandzadeh. Yes, lock it up.
Who?
What? TJ House Vanilla. All right. TJ Who's your mama?
Fantasy Rule 17. Know how to pronounce your draft picks.
You mean TJ Houshmandzadeh from the Bengals?
Put him on the board. Houshmandzadeh. Got it. Championship.
Sign up for the free Armchair Quarterbacks Fantasy Football League today. Weekly prizes and grand prizes to the league champions. All you got to do is shoot us an email, armchairquarterbacks@yahoo.com. We'll send you an invite. Contact us today because seats are filling up. That's armchairquarterbacks@yahoo.com. Put fantasy football in the subject line.
Fantasy football time. It's fantasy football time.
Welcome to the jungle. Jim Rome on the air, noon to 3 Eastern. Only on CBS Sports Radio.
I want to be clear. If this happened to me, I'll break the control and I'll delete the game and never play again.
First half, and the Ravens will extend. Oh, and now they're going to fake it. And open left side is Brown.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Your Sunday morning gets rolling at 10 a.m. Eastern as the Handicappers are on the Armchair Quarterbacks. The games at 1 o'clock look like this. The Minnesota Vikings are a 7.5-point favorite at the Detroit Lions. 46.5 is the over-under. Arizona Cardinals, 9-point favorite at the Chicago Bears. 43.5 is the over-under. Atlanta, 11-point dogs at home to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 50.5 is the number. Indianapolis Colts, 10-point favorite. In Houston, the Texans and Colts, 45.5 is the over-under. Eagles and Jets, Philly is a 7-point favorite on the road. 45 is the over-under. The game of the day in that slot, Chargers, Bengals. 1 p.m. kickoff, LA in Cincy. The Bengals are a 3-point favorite. The number sits at 50. Giants are at the Dolphins. Dolphins a 4-point favorite. 40.5 is the over-under. Looking at the late slate, the Washington football team is a 1-point dog in Vegas. 49 is the over-under. Jaguars a 13-point dog in Los Angeles to the Rams. 48 is the over-under. 4:25 Eastern, it's the Ravens and Steelers. Baltimore is favored by 4.5 in the Steel City. 44 is the over-under. San Francisco is at Seattle. They're a 3.5-point favorites on the road. The 49ers giving up the points. 46 is the over-under. And the Sunday Night Football game of the week, Denver Broncos getting 10 in Kansas City against the Chiefs. 47.5 is the number. And your Monday Night Football game, the New England Patriots, a 2.5-point underdog in Buffalo. 43 points is the over-under. Tones Areola and Mac McGee will bring you the action Monday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Stay tuned for the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
They say he killed 17 people just for looking at him.
Don't worry, everyone. I'm safe. You know what I mean?
Armchair.
Welcome to the Handicappers, your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert. A 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football, year long, and your DFS payouts. true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, in your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers. Welcoming in Bobby the Kid with Joey and Tones Areola, with Stephen Troche and Sean O'Toole on the way. With your host, Mac McGee. Welcome to the Handicappers. Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers. Mac McGee sitting alongside the brothers Areola. How are y'all this morning, guys?
We're great, Mac. We're ready for game day. Both their teams play at the 1 o'clock time slot, so we're going to be doing a little channel surfing in our televisions. But we're excited to be here on another lovely NFL Sunday, my friend.
Are y'all in the same location? Are you going to be fighting over the TV?
We got a good. We got 4 or 5 out, so there will be no television fighting.
Wrestle off.
Royal Rumble, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, I'm also doing good. December football. I mean, we locked up a lot in college football yesterday. We now pretty much know who's going to be in there. Now it's time for the NFL for these teams to start pairing out. I'm excited for December football.
Yeah, they are supposed to be announcing that very, very shortly. Here's an interesting thing going on. If you're used to watching fantasy football now, it ain't on today. It got preempted by like a 7-hour block of college football announcement. I found that very interesting. They don't have it on ESPN News. They don't have it on anything. You have to have the plus to even find it. So
Guess you got to watch our show.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure that makes everyone just feel great to know that, you get to week 13, which a lot of leagues. So traditionally, this is the last week of the season. A lot of leagues, there's 2 weeks left. Most leagues, there's 2 weeks left, and they decide to dip off and not have a show available for people on ESPN. I'm like, unbelievable. Like, you need 3-4 hours to announce 4 slots that we already know who the hell's going to be in it anyways. But they won't announce it till like 12:30, something like that.
String it out on us, waste of time.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. Let's go ahead and start off with our cold and bold predictions. I had some issues this morning with the tech side of this, so I'm trying to get everything shared to social media. So we'll go ahead and start with Joey, and then Joey after that. Tones, you jump in because I need a couple of minutes to try to catch everything up to speed on my end.
All right, sounds like a plan. Yeah, cold and bold today. I'm going to be down on the New York Giants. Obviously, when it comes to fantasy, they never usually have too much action to begin with. But when you are without your quarterback and Mike Glennon starting for you, that's just never a good sign.
No Judge going to survive?
I don't know. That's a tough call. I would say right now, no. I think this organization is kind of unfolding, and that, when you don't hit on your quarterback as a first-round pick, which was a sketchy pick to begin with, you could really travel along with that. To me, at least the general manager, somebody has to be in jeopardy for this mess, because I feel like it's always injuries. Barkley obviously being at the cream of the crop there. So if you have any Giants in fantasy at a hot Miami team today, I'm just not a big fan of that. As the Dolphins, they're still a little behind the playoff picture, but they're slowly are creeping back in with what they've been doing lately. So I think that's a tough matchup for the Giants. I'm up on some receivers today, starting with scary Terry McLaurin against the Raiders team that, they're playing decent football, but to me, their defense in this time of year is when they seem to let up a lot of points. In Washington, They're in the wild card right now. They're in the hunt. They're ready to go. So I think Scary Terry will have a big day. Another receiver who usually does good in this place, old man in an old home, T.Y. Hilton against the Houston Texans, is known in the past to have a lot of big games. He had his first touchdown last week against Tampa Bay. Hopefully he has gotten some more chemistry with Carson Wentz, and I think against the team Houston, who he has done a plethora of touchdowns and a plethora of big games, but dating all the way back to 2013, will continue that. And then an obvious one, but I wanted to say Jamar Chase and the Bengals, T. Higgins, if you have either of them. I really like their matchup today against the LA Chargers. So that is my bold and tones. I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, taking off there. I'm going to start with 3 bold, then I'll get into 3 guys that you should try avoiding, or 3 things you should try avoiding today. I guess one may stay. I'm starting off with the good one here. I like Adam Thielen and what he could do today. He's been playing good football lately for Minnesota, and without Dalvin Cook, you really think that they're probably going to even try and pass that ball a little bit more. The last 2 games, Thielen has 3 touchdowns and a combined 144 yards and 17 targets and 13 receptions. So his volume share has definitely been there. Now today he gets to go up against a very vulnerable Detroit secondary. So I like Adam Thielen to have a big game today. I also like the Colts defense today. They're playing Houston Texans, and the Texans coming off a bye, but they're a little banged up. David Johnson is officially out today. I know he's not much, but that is their starting running back. They let go of Philip Lindsay.
I just wrecked every one of my lineups.
If that wrecked all your lineups, you might be a combined 0 for 92. But no, for real, yeah, David Johnson's out. They cut Philip Lindsay. Hell, it's going to be Rex Burkhead and who knows what else back there. So we'll see what's going on back there in Houston. I know Brandon Cooks is banged up today as well. Something to look out for there. And then obviously I really like this one today. They're getting Carlton Davis back, their top cornerback. I think the Bucs defense goes on the road today and has a nice game against Atlanta. They had a couple turnovers last week, a couple sacks late against the Colts and Carson Wentz. I think that they go and face a struggling offense and take care of them. Then my cold predictions, Bears defense. I know they're household name, always Bears defense, but they're without Khalil Mack at this point in time. They're without some other big names. They have a very vaunted offense coming to them on the road today. I think that Kyler Murray in Arizona has a nice little game today. I'm staying away from Bears defense. As Joey mentioned, he likes Jamar Chase and Higgins. I'm staying away from Tyler Boyd. Boyd's kind of been the odd man out this year. I think he's got a cold arrow, especially with CJ Uzomah been having early on, at least, bigger games. Boyd looks like third, if not fourth fiddle at this point. So I'm avoiding Boyd. And this is a guy a lot of people had high hopes on coming into this year, especially in the preseason when Jamar Chase was struggling. But now Chase is off to bigger and better things. And in Boyd's past 3 games, he has a combined 73 receiving yards without any touchdowns. So stay away from him. And then we should all know this by now, but don't let the average draft position vaunt you into starting him. Stay away from Mike Davis today, especially as he faces a number 1 run defense, Tampa Bay. Mike Davis just has not done anything, only averaging 5 points per game at this point. His ADP was really high, but at this point, he's available in a lot of leagues. He's available for a reason. Even if you have bye weeks, go get somebody else.
He's available for the same reason the ugly chick's available the day before the prom. Nobody wants him. The only way you end up taking Mike Davis to your week 13 prom is because every other avenue is spent.
Correct.
You waited too late. Now Rex Burkhead's got a date. You waited too late, and now Sony Michelle has the date. So now you're going, all right, David, what are you doing on Thursday? Oh, yeah. Let's go. He's already in his prom dress, ready to roll. Like, God, man, can we get through the back door so no one actually sees us going in here?
No pictures.
Exactly. We're just going to come in, we're going to say our hellos, and we're going to do pictures, but solo pictures, not together.
Bring plenty of flasks.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. What a bust. I drafted him in quite a few leagues, too. What a freaking bust. We were all told during the fall or summer it was his job. There was no reason to think any other reason. That's why, man, these beat writers and these fantasy football writers, they're all full of crap. They're all full of crap. They don't know. All right, end rant. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's just the thing. Mike Davis, nobody thought Cordero Patterson would have the year he is, and here he is taking off, and Mike Davis is long forgotten about. And I'm just going to wrap it up with one more cold prediction for the day, and then that's pretty much it. I think that, the Void start in Steelers D tonight as well. I'm defensive heavy here. They play the Baltimore Ravens. I think that Steelers have packed their bags weeks ago, and that's my bold and cold.
You think it's going to be a blowout?
I think Pittsburgh does end up. I don't think it's a blowout. I see it being more of a high. I could see this game getting a little up in scoring more so than a blowout. Actually, I think that it could replicate that Chargers Steelers game we've seen a few weeks back if it goes down that path. Ravens defense just hasn't looked up to par this year, but I think Lamar Jackson gets back on track offensively against Pittsburgh. I think it could equate to the over hitting.
How strange is it that Pittsburgh and Baltimore's defense are both available in so many fantasy football leagues this late in the year?
And the last time the Steelers won a game, Mac, me and you were actually on the call. It was 4 weeks ago against Chicago. Then they tied against Detroit and then lost.
Barely won that one.
Yeah, barely won that one. So that goes to show how their defense is struggling.
Well, that being said on that game too, I do agree. I think the Ravens probably squeak it out, but I think it's actually going to be a pretty ugly game because the offenses, Lamar Jackson last week threw 4 interceptions. Yes, they still won, and he had some tremendous plays. Big Ben, though, has looked absolutely terrible. He has now said that this is reports are going around. This will be his last season doing this whole thing. So I think just as bad as the defenses might be struggling, I feel right now both offenses are kind of in a funk too, and you might see an ugly football game with quite a few turnovers.
That is it's hard to believe how mighty these two have fallen. The only thing I'll say about that matchup is that typically when these two play, it's fairly low scoring because they know each other so well. But that being said, they normally have much better defenses, much better. And so normally if I have players in this matchup and they go head to head, I usually keep them out of my lineup because it usually ends up being like a 16-19 just slugfest. But I think it could get higher scoring as well. It does look like Claypool will play. But yeah, it's definitely not your slightly older brothers, Pittsburgh, Baltimore matchup, because this is, it's kind of a shame because it's being billed as the game of the day and it really isn't.
No, to me, it's not.
What the hell? Why are we getting Denver and Kansas City tonight when we could have Herbert versus Burrow? What is that about?
And that's a great storyline. Come on.
It is. And it's different. And don't tell me, Herbert was just on Sunday Night Football last week or the week before. Whatever. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is on it every damn night.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that would have been a fun matchup. I think that would have been a really tremendous matchup and expose these young QBs to a lot of fans out there that want to see these young quarterbacks play. Now, we get Mahomes that we always see, and we get a Teddy Bridgewater who, nothing against Teddy B, but, he's
not. Is it him or Drew Lock today? Is it for sure Bridgewater?
I think it's Bridgewater.
I wasn't sure on that. I know Drew Lock got some time last week. I was curious.
It's supposed to be Bridgewater. Lord, let's hope so.
Yeah, if we get Drew Lock on Sunday Night Football, geez, that spread might raise to what, 15?
It's a good time. It's a good time. Go ahead and pull out that pull out whatever your version of It's a Wonderful Life is and put that in the DVR, man, or however you're streaming it.
Don't have the Sunday scaries with that.
I'm not even planning on watching that game, to be honest with you. I'll have it on as a secondary, and me and my wife will watch something. I'm not going to set up my Sunday night to watch that crap. I mean, that is just a terrible, terrible game. The only reason why I'll even have it on is because I have shares of like CEH and whatnot, so I'll want to keep an eye on that. But it is just a terrible game. There are some Sunday night games that I tell my wife, look, I really want to hear this game, I really want to listen to it. So let's watch a movie earlier or whatever, and then she goes and does her thing. Tonight, I could care less about this game. This game is boring as balls. So,
did you hear too? I know you mentioned it earlier. Fantasy Football Now. You could apparently watch it on the ESPN Fantasy app. What the hell is that junk?
You could watch what?
The Fantasy Football Live. They're saying now.
It's that terrible app that they have.
I know that app is trash, and they're trying to get people. It's like, geez, Lou, they're driving people.
They want to get people to actually watch the ESPN Fantasy show. They want to put it on an app. They should put it on the Yahoo Football app. They're gonna get more views.
Cross-platform, screw it. I like it.
They should have paid their way in. It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And for some reason, I don't know what this is. So I've got it on a device just to keep up, see if there's any breaking news. It looks like that they've been downgraded. Wherever they're doing this at, they're not doing it in their typical scenario where they have like a big desk and everything. They are literally got they have, it's the three of them, and they have their laptops and piece of paper and everything scattered all over a coffee table. I don't know what the hell happened. Did they get demoted? It's their only fantasy football show they have, unless you watch that weekly one that Barry puts on the app, which is just unwatchable. He just sits there and plays with puppets and tries to do bad puns and he thinks it's so corny that it's funny. It's not. It's the exact opposite. Just talentless hack. But tell me what you really think. But this is the only show they have. I'm telling you, right now they are not in normal desk chairs. They are in like almost damn near Barca loungers, and they're sitting
budget cuts.
Yeah, and they're sitting in front of a coffee table. Like, oh man, this is bad, guys. This thing's going to Zoom by next fall. I mean, you're gonna be sitting like us, going, all right.
They don't even got dress clothes on anymore.
No, they've officially given up. They have officially given up. Yeah, it's week 13. We all know we're getting fired. Let's just
Matthew Berry's 0-12 at this point.
They probably could have been at the studio. They said, do you really want to drive 6 miles? Let's just come over to my house. We'll do it here.
You're not getting paid anyway.
Yes, exactly. The checks have bounced since since Halloween. Like whatever, dude. This is terrible. Oh my God. Anyways, moving on.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and get into our DFS of integrity. So I will give the floor to Joey. Give me your DFS lineup of integrity.
Let's do it. What a surprise this will be is my quarterback will be Carson Wentz, but on all honesty, he played good for the most part last week, minus that interception. But against a Houston team that we put up 31 points again about a couple of months ago at 6,100, I think that's a pretty decent value for him to get things going there. So I think he'll be a pretty good pick there. Running back James Conner, 5,900. Arizona, yes, they're getting Murray and Hopkins back in spots, but at the same time, you don't want to trust that fully. I think it's going to be messy weather. It's already starting to rain here locally in Chicago. It's going to be a sloppy game. I think James Conner at 5,900 is a good play, and he'll get a lot of touches in that game. Another running back I like is Eli Mitchell for San Francisco. That's a big game at Seattle. I know Seattle's down this year, but San Fran's hot right now, and they want to continue their way into the wild card. And a big part of that's been Eli Mitchell. He's at 6,000. I think he'll have another big day, as that Seattle defense isn't as strong as it once was with the Legion of Boom. Wide receiver one, I'm going to go Keenan Allen at 7,500. I think I also have T. Higgins next at 5,800. Reason being, I think that's a high-scoring game. Chargers have played high-scoring games, whether it's been the Browns, the Steelers. Very exciting football, but that's where I like a guy like Keenan Allen at 7,500. And then the opposite side, I just mentioned T. Higgins at 5,800. I'm a big fan of his in fantasy today. As Tones mentioned, Boyd has been kind of the guy left out right now, as Jamar Chase and T. Higgins been putting up some good performances. To make the quarterback wide receiver connection in my last receiver spot, I'm going to go T.Y. Hilton at 4,400. Like I said, he's killed Houston in the past. some games with 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, all the way dating back to 2013 and as lately as 2018, where he had over 150 yards and a score. At tight end, I'm going to go Rob Gronkowski at 5,300. Sadly, against my Colts last week, he destroyed us. He had a lot of catches for a lot of yards, and I think Gronk, with AB now being out for a little bit more, I think that slot's going to be owned by Rob Gronkowski, and he's going to bake.
Did you see his video getting off the plane? I'm sure Tones did. Or
Yeah,
getting
Gronk?
off the plane, getting onto the plane. Sorry.
You mean Gronk's?
Yeah, where he was rapping.
Yeah. What do you think about that one?
It's goofy and corny, but it's Gronk's, so it's hard to hate Gronk.
It is funny. He said, I'm headed to Atlanta where the plays play, and tomorrow I'll be scoring all day. That was his main line of the rap. Like Max said, it was a little corny, but it's Gronk, so it's with the twist or with the spike.
That's why I'm even happier I chose him now. So I love that pick at 5,300. Gronkowski's the man. I'm actually going to take the tight end on the other side, Kyle Pitts as well. Jack Doyle, who's, an aged veteran, he had a good day against Tampa Bay last week. I think the only way Atlanta might be able to score is using the middle of the field behind the linebackers and getting to the tight end. Kyle Pitts at 5,600. So I look for both tight ends in that game to have big days. And then the Dolphins defense at 3,300. They're at home against a struggling Giants team. I mean, come on, anybody against Mike Glennon should have a pretty good fantasy defensive day. And that's my DraftKings lineup of integrity with no dollars to spare.
All right. Tones, what say you?
Yeah, okay, and it's a good day for me. The Bucks are playing on the Sunday slate, so I get a lot more options for my choosings here for the DFS lineup of integrity. So I'm, of course, going with none other than TB12 at quarterback. He faces a pulpist defense.
Shocking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I noticed him, and I was like, I'm not going to have the same lineup as Tones. I'm just not going to.
Hey, if we look at my splits, if we look at our DFS splits, I feel like with the Bucks playing, I'm like top 3. Without him playing, I'm bottom 3. So we'll just save that one. But yeah, TB12, 7,200 on the road against a pulpist Falcons defense. I like that. That's a juicy one. Jonathan Taylor, 9,200. Colts were complaining. Colts players are saying, we got to run the ball more. We got to run the ball more. Quentin Nelson was crying that they got to run the ball more. Well, today they get that chance on the road against a Houston Texans D that's not very good. So they could run the ball all day on them. I'm choosing Jonathan Taylor for 9,200. Give me my man Lenny F for 7,300. He had 4 touchdowns last week. I think that as the season goes on, the Bucks are going to continue to try and get him and Rojo both involved more, as they had 5 combined touchdowns last week. Lenny F with 4 of those. I think he continues to be a big part of the game plan today, and he is a PPR machine. So if you're in PPR league,
let me stop you there. I got to get your take on this.
Yes, sir.
Colts Bucks last week, y'all were there. End of the ball game. Leonard Fournette goes into the end zone.
He should have went down.
He should have went down. Thank you. I got into a damn argument on one of the social media platforms. I don't remember which one it was, with this one lady, and she was like, all right, Mark, that now you always take the touchdown when you want it, when it's there. And Bones like, no, you don't, you moron. What are you talking about? There was plenty of time. And not to mention the fact, let's go ahead and add this in there. The ensuing kickoff gets ran back over to the Bucs side of the 50.
And Bruce Arians, your favorite head coach, he even said after the game, I don't know why Lenny didn't go down. Everyone was under the impression that Lenny should have went down, including the head coach. That's a situation where you go down at the 2-yard line right there. You ice the game away.
Chip shot.
Exactly. You win the game. You have Ryan Suckup, okay? It's not like you have one of these classic Bucs kickers who's yay or nay. And you're
doesn't matter who you have. It could be you or I. We can get a freaking 1-yard field goal.
Correct.
And on top of that, the spread came into effect because it was 3 points, and a lot of people were upset about that as well. So
I wasn't looking at it from that because I don't.
I know, but
my whole thing was, what the hell is this idiot doing? And it comes to what he's always been about. It's one of the reasons why he fell out of favor in Jacksonville. He's about himself, so he wanted to pad his stats. And look, they won, so it's no skin loss, but. That could have turned out very, very differently, especially because that ensuing kickoff, the dude damn near broke it. And can you imagine if he had broken it? Boy, Tom Brady, they wouldn't be able to get him on the field afterwards because he'd have he'd be in the middle of choking out freaking Leonard Fournette on the sidelines.
Not only that, Mike Edwards, well, now he's suspended, but he got injured at that time. That could have cost him his safety for injury for this week too. Mike Edwards, the guy who had to run down Chester Rogers or whoever it was, he got hurt. So it's like Isaiah Rogers. A multitude of things happened on that play. Like Max said, you got to go down there. But nonetheless, it looked like Lenny F almost got hurt on that play as well. It was kind of an awkward sidestep he took. It was an ugly touchdown, but nonetheless, it was
because it happened back-to-back days. The same damn thing happened with Auburn.
Yep.
And had Auburn stayed in bounds, we wouldn't be talking about Alabama in the college football playoffs right now.
And I think we all would have been a lot happier about that. Nonetheless, I know Alabama is what they are, but always good to get fresh air in the playoffs. But nonetheless, Lenny F 7,300, and then I like Chris Godwin for 6,600. He's having okay days lately. I think he needs to have a game where he goes off. You've seen Mike Evans go off. You see Gronk go off the past couple of weeks. You see these guys catching all these balls, and Scotty Miller didn't look up to par last week. Tyler Johnson still hasn't made the footprint some thought he might make. And I think Chris Godwin for 6,600 is pretty good today. Alluding to that, Michael Pittman Jr., 5,700. He was kind of quiet last week, so I expect him to step up this week. I expect him to make some plays last week. I think that he's out for some vengeance this week against that Houston defense. And then wide receiver 3, I'm going with Ashton Doolin for 3,000. He had a 70-yard touchdown last week. I don't know if it'll happen again, but I was out of money, so I kind of had to pick a shot in the dark there. Tight end Pat Freiermuth, 4,200 against Baltimore. I spoke to why I think Pittsburgh and Baltimore could kind of be a higher scoring game. So I like Pat Freiermuth there for 4,200. Dallas Goedert for 4,500. I don't care who his QB is, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew. I like Dallas Goedert to pay dividends today for fantasy owners. And then Jaguars defense. I was in a pinch with money. When you spend that money on Taylor and Leonard Fournette, you got to cut corners elsewhere. So I got Jaguars defense.
They might give you negative 20. You might be just leaving that thing blank.
I know. I had to do between them and Lions D. But, Jaguars D, but I've actually been forced to take him this year. They've actually come up clutch for me at times.
This will not be the case today. They're in Los Angeles.
Who's been struggling?
They are in Los Angeles.
Mini MASH report, by the way, before we get to Max DFS. Expected to play Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Odell Beckham Jr., Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, and Deshaun Jackson. Game time decision, Darrell Henderson and James Robinson, and likely out Jalen Hurts, David Johnson, Kadarius Toney, and Sterling Shepard. That was just tweeted 2 minutes ago.
Gotcha. All right, so my DFS real quick is for 6,000. I'm going to go with David Carr at home against Washington, the worst pass defense against quarterbacks in fantasy football this year. So what the hell? Why not? Joe Mixon at 8,100. He is going up against the Chargers defense. It gets gashed on the ground. So I'm going with him once again. Jamal Williams, 5,400, going up against the Minnesota Vikings. And I do think they're going to try to keep it on the ground, but he gives you DFS play as well. I've scooped him up in a lot of year-long fantasy. I'm playing him quite a bit too there. I do have Brandon Cooks in my lineup. I know he's coming off the flu. The guy's going to lead the entire. He'll probably lead the entire Sunday with targets. They're going to be down quick. They're going to be down for, I would think, the majority of the game, and they're going to be trying to play catch up. And who else are they going to be chucking it to? I almost put Pittman in there, but I couldn't fix him in after I did a couple of other things. Originally I had Pittman in my lineup, but I changed some things out at the last minute. So I put Cooks in there with Mike Evans. I'm going Mike Evans today. AB doing AB things, lying and stealing and cheating and, raping and whatever the hell else he's doing. And now they finally suspend him for 3 games. 6,700 Mike Evans. I think he finds pay dirt at least once today. Hunter Renfrow is going to be my receiver that I'm going to stack with David Carr. And I think he'll have a big day. Look, he's a PPR machine, and that's what these DFSs are. They're all about the full point PPR. So you have a chance for him to catch 8 to 10 balls today. And then Foster Moreau, saving some money at tight end today, 2,700. He'll be the lead tight end because Waller will not play today. So I'm going with him. And then my flex is Mr. Eli Mitchell at 6,100, or excuse me, 6,000 even. I think y'all laid out pretty well why I'm going with him. I just expect him to have a big day. I'm very surprised that he's still that low in DFS. It's very, very shocking. And then my defense, give me those Cardinals going into Chicago. You're saying now that it's rainy there. I like
it's torrential downpour.
I like it even more, baby. Let's go.
Hit with it.
Let's get our galoshes out. Yeah, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that Chicago Bear defense has been horrendous, and now it's raining sideways. A little bit of spit and rain, even rain from upside down. Yeah. So yeah, I give me the Cardinal defense as we welcome on Mr. Bobby the Kid. How the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Kyler's back. Hopkins is back. I'm hoping for a big day from both of them.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I'm very excited. I'm just hoping everybody stays healthy because I know they're playing in Chicago today and the weather's going to be a little bit iffy, but I'm hoping everybody can stay healthy and we can get a win today.
I thought you were going with they're playing Chicago today and Mayor Lightfoot has been a disaster, so someone could get shot on the street at any day.
Either way, take your chance.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bobby, do you have your DFS ready?
I do. I have it pulled up now.
What you got today?
All right. So starting off the quarterback, I'm going a little bit pricey here. I'm going with Tom Brady for 7,200 against the Falcons defense. Last time they played the Falcons this year, it was pretty high scoring.
Tony I have a word for you. He's the only one who's allowed to take Tom Brady.
Hey, I'll share the love with Bobby. I'll share it with Bobby. All right.
I need Brady this week against the Falcons defense. I got to get him. My running back one is Joe Mixon for 8,100 against the Chargers defense. I anticipate this being a high scoring game. The Chargers are 27th against the running backs in fantasy this year, and I anticipate Mixon having another big game as he has for a lot this year. My running back two is Jamal Williams for 5,400 against the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense isn't terribly good, and the Lions rely quite a bit on the run. And with Swift being out, I think getting a running back like Jamal Williams, who will be filling in for Swift as a running back one today, I think 5,400 is a great price. My wide receiver one is Chris Godwin against the Falcons. I'm taking another buck from Tones here, but I got Godwin today. He didn't have a huge game last week, but what I've noticed with Brady is he kind of likes to go to one guy a lot every week. It's kind of a pattern with him, and I think Godwin might be the guy this week. My wide receiver two is Van Jefferson for 5,300 against the Jaguars. Odell's going into this game questionable, and the Jaguars have a pretty weak defense, so I'm hoping Van Jefferson can break off a big play and give me some points today for 5,300. My wide receiver three is Josh Reynolds for only 3,400. He's going up against the Vikings today, who, as I said, have a weak secondary. He had 16 points last week, which is pretty big for him. And I think the reason for that is that he was a pretty big target for Jared Goff back in LA. And, when he went to the Titans, he didn't do much at all. But his first week with the Lions, he put up 16 points. So I think 3,400 is well worth it. My tight end is Rob Gronkowski for 5,300. Again, Falcons defense, not very good. A lot of high scoring last time they played him. And I think with how involved Gronk has been in the offense since he's come back from injury, I think 5,300 is a great price for him. My flex is James Conner for 5,900. As I mentioned a minute ago or so, I think there's a lot of bad weather right now in Chicago. Kyler and Hopper still kind of working back from injury, so I think we're going to rely on the run a bit more today. And against the Bears, I think we'll be able to get some points out of James Conner. So I got him for 5,900. And my defense to finish it off, I got the Raiders for 2,800 against Washington. Washington just doesn't have a very electric offense. And I think for 2,800, the Raiders will at least keep enough points on the board to be worth it.
All right. So there we have their DFS of integrity, and Steven will be up with us at the top there. Not sure about Sean. Sean had alluded that he may not be here today. certain circumstances. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be here today or not, but I believe he might be. We are looking for him currently. He may or may not be under a bridge right now celebrating the Michigan victory with a bunch of homeless people,
Hangover 4.
Yeah. Exactly.
One shot for every point they got.
By the way, this is the 40th anniversary of the Cincinnati. Well, it's not the 40th anniversary, but 40 years ago this season, Cincinnati versus San Diego being rehashed in Cincinnati once again. This is the AFC Championship game in 1981. For people who don't remember that season, do not remember that year, that was the coldest game in the history of the National Football League ever recorded with wind chill. Wind chill was minus 59 degrees that day, and it was minus 9 on the field, but minus 59, and it was always been known as the Freezer Bowl. I think a lot of people are familiar with the game that they call the Epic in Miami, which was Miami versus San Diego in the playoffs. They went to overtime, and the famous picture you see Kellen Winslow getting carried off the field or helped off the field as he's kind of slumped over 2 of his teammates. So I remember that season very vividly. I was a young kid, but that's when I really got into the NFL was that year, and heartbroken when the Dolphins lost that day. That next week was when Cincinnati and San Diego played. So some of it had to do with the fact that it was very cold weather. Chargers going into very cold weather, and they just couldn't handle the Freezer Bowl. The high-flying offense, I think they scored 7 points that day. I want to say they lost like 27-7, something like that. But the other thing was they were exhausted from the game the week before in Miami, where they were dehydrated. There were reports all that entire week of the San Diego Charger players that were having to get IVs up until like Tuesday or Wednesday to get replenished because they were so exhausted, because they weren't used to the humidity in Miami on one week, and then the very next week minus 59 degrees. So they went from, because it was an unseasonably warm day in Miami that day, where it was like almost 90 that day on the field at kickoff. So they went from that to the next week of being at the coldest game to ever be recorded in the history of the National Football League. And what did the Bengals do? They went and got their ass kicked by Joe Montana like they know how to do. So, that's what that was about.
Yeah, and the people in Cincinnati still love to talk about that Freezer Bowl. I was down there for the 4th of July Reds-Cubs series, and people were still alluding to that Bengals game like it was yesterday. So that thing is hashed in memory down there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was Dan Fouts and what was it? Ken Anderson. That was the first season that I absorbed the National Football League front to back. I watched football the year before. I was a young kid, but that was the first year I remember. A lot of people laugh about this, but that year, hell, what was I, 7, 8 years old, whatever I was at that time. At the very beginning of the football season, I got myself a notepad. I wish I would have kept that damn thing. I got myself a notepad and started writing down everything that the broadcasters were saying so I could understand the rules. Because I was convinced, and I was right, that people in my family really didn't know what the hell they were talking about when I asked questions about football. I was like, well, why is this happening? And they would tell me I'm like, that's not what that guy just said. All right, you know what? I'm getting myself a notebook next year. That's what I did. I sat down. Monday Night Football was the main time that I did it, because you couldn't really just go sit down in the house back then and just watch TV on a Sunday. That was not allowed back in those days. Like, you had to go outside and play. But Monday night, I could sit in front of a little, the little rabbit ear TV, and everything that was talked about on Monday Night Football, I would jot down. All right, well, that's what holding means. Okay, and that's what, as opposed to some goofy ass version that my uncle would try to tell me. So
he was watching basketball thinking it was football.
It's like most football fans. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just, they absorb a little bit of it, and then they try to make you think that they know what they're talking about. All right, moving on from that, other news of the day, by the way, college football. Oklahoma is expected to announce today that they are hiring Venables, the defensive coordinator from Clemson. So that should be a thing by sometime this afternoon. And Lane Kiffin, $7.5 million a year, just got a raise. All the details are not in yet, buyouts and all that stuff, but he is getting elevated to $7.5 million a year, which is
smart move, I think, by Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's what's his name? It's Jimbo Fisher money, because that's what he left when he left to go to A&M. That's what he did. He jumped up to 7.5 a year. I mean, now that they're giving Mel Tucker what they're giving him, I mean, he's going to skew the entire thing, right? Because you talking about someone who's overpaid.
Throwing away money.
That is not going to turn out well for the home team. I'm telling you right now, that is just not going to turn out well. But anyways, we move on, and let's go ahead and get into some of our. See, we got a few minutes before we have to do locks and everything. Curious, go around the horn here real quick of games that have your eye today in the point spreads and whatnot. Joey, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, we alluded to a little bit, but for playoff opportunity in the AFC, I'm really interested in that Chargers-Bengal game. Obviously, because each quarterback was, high in the draft, Burrow being number one, and then Herbert towards the tail end of the top 10. That's exciting within itself, as both offenses are usually pretty good this year.
Are you looking Chargers +3 or Bengals -3?
Bengals -3, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit, because I think the Bengals have hit their stride and are going to have a good month.
And what is it? It's West Coast, East Coast, early kickoff, baby.
There it is. That too. So Chargers have been sluggish in some games, and I think the Bengals are a little bit more of a complete team. But in the AFC picture, if the Chargers lose this game, they could actually fall out of the wild card race if a few other things could happen. So AFC games are huge right now. This is one of them. So that's one I'm really looking my eye on, and I actually like the Bengals there in a high-scoring affair.
All right. Tones, give me a game that you got your eye on right now.
Yeah, one to keep an eye on for me is, with the spread in terms of it, I'm interested in seeing if the Dolphins could cover 6.5 points against a backup quarterback on the road. They've won 4 in a row now. If they win, they're magically up to 6 wins. At one point in time, that looked impossible for them this season. Daniel Jones is out. Sterling Shepard's probably out. Kadarius Toney's probably out. The Giants just have a plethora of injuries. Saquon Barkley hasn't quite looked like Saquon Barkley that we're accustomed to. And at one point in time, Brian Flores, even though very young in his Dolphins career, was on the hot seat this year. All of a sudden up to 4 wins, could get that to 5 today. I'm interested to see if the Dolphins could cover that big home spread. That's a cusp of a good team, right? If you could cover a spread like that at home, it bumps you up. If you can't cover a spread like that at home against a struggling, injured, banged up team, you're still in the middle of the pack to me. So I'm interested to see if the Dolphins could make that leap and could continue to make that 7 seed push in the AFC. I'm interested to see if the Giants could step up, because the NFC 7 seed is vulnerable. If they can maybe win on the road with a backup quarterback, stay alive in that, poor 7 seed hunt. So that's an interesting one there. To me, whoever loses that one is officially down and out. Whoever wins that one, you keep him on life support, but they still got a fighting chance.
The Dolphins have such an easy schedule the back half of this season, starting with their winning streak. Listen to the teams that they've played. This is getting skated over. Everyone keeps harping on, they're on a 4-game winning streak. Oh, look at them. Look at that. Texans, Ravens, mind you, it was a Thursday night game. Jets, Panthers. Then they're going to play the Giants today at home. They'll be at home next week against the Jets, at the Saints, who have looked terrible. And then they'll finish it off. This will be the tough one. They'll go to Tennessee. Tennessee should have most of their pieces back by then. And then the final game will be against the Patriots. Whether or not the Patriots are playing for anything will have a big to do, I think, with whether or not Miami can sneak into that wild card.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting couple game stretch. Like you said, it softened up for them. They took advantage. Now they got to take advantage these next 2 to 3 weeks with Giants, Jets, Saints. And then it comes down to splitting hairs. Are they going to be good enough to beat the Titans or Patriots when Titans are healthy? That answer is probably no, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dolphins, last year they did the opposite. They had that playoff seed and they lost a couple at the end. We'll see if they could do the opposite this year, where they started down and out and could win some to sneak in.
if you're a Dolphins fan, yeah, I think you should be a Patriots fan for the next several weeks, because if they can get the division sewn up, they won't be putting anyone out there on the field in week 18.
Well, even if they win the division, though, they still might be competing for a high seed. Because the top of the AFC is still pretty open.
Right, they might be, but I'm just saying in general, you don't want the Patriots playing for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And unless it's for a bye, I don't think Belichick would put his best foot forward.
I agree.
Especially if he thinks he could actually get to play the Dolphins in the first round in Foxborough. He's like, you know what? Let's take a dive here.
I've seen Patriots get Trent Brown back today. That's huge for Mac Jones to protect him on that forefront. He's a unit on that offensive line. So that's another piece that New England gets back and should help fortify Mac Jones' rookie play.
In week 18, we'll play a simple soft zone and let Tua pick us apart. In week 1 of the playoffs, we'll come blitzing out of his butthole and just cause all kinds of freaking chaos and beat him by 60.
Judon's going to have like 4 sacks against that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wonder, and look, that Georgia-Alabama game yesterday, it was really strange that Georgia didn't blitz much. Because Auburn blitzed them all day and they couldn't handle it. Georgia sat back there and just tried to rush 4, sometimes 3. And I almost wonder if Georgia, I'm not saying they lost it intentionally, but if they're holding some things back because they figure they're gonna have to play them again. Because once
they did get a 10-0 lead. They were after that first quarter, they had a little.
No, but if you watch the defense, just go back and watch the game. They didn't blitz, and Auburn blitzed. And they couldn't handle it. If they face each other again, Georgia's going to blitz. I guarantee it. And also, when Oklahoma State lost at noon, that pretty much put Alabama into the playoffs. Alabama could have lost that game yesterday, and they already heard the damn excuses at the half. I think if they're you got to put them in. They've only got 2 losses. They were already making the excuses.
That is the thing. That committee, that 4 teams, and you're almost a shoo-in at the beginning of each year for Alabama at this point in the committee's mind.
Michael Myers, you can't kill him. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to put him in the playoffs.
They could have 5 losses, and I could see them still getting
7-5 and go, well, they've looked really good in the fourth quarter of that final game. So they had 5-star athletes everywhere. You got to put them in. They're going to put them in every single time. It is ridiculous. And this is why you need college playoff expansion, because you're never going to get them out of the playoffs. So you might as well allow other teams to get in.
They also got the Heisman now. I think he solidified that after last night, Bryce Young.
Yeah, I was against him winning the Heisman, but I think he did enough. I still think there were other guys that had better years, but they're going to give it to him because they're the 1 seed. And that's what they do nowadays. They don't give it to the guy who had the best season. They give it to the guy who made the playoffs and had the best season of the. And if you look at, what's he going up against? Georgia, Cincinnati, Michigan. None of those guys are winning the Heisman.
Pickett should have won it to me.
Honestly, that's who I would vote would be Pickett. But they're not going to give it to him because he didn't make the playoffs.
Last night, he looked
by the
incredible.
way, that fake slide last night. 2 things. A, the refs blew that he should have been called down. When you start to initiate your slide, you give yourself up, and you're supposed to. The play's supposed to be called dead, because in the number 2, the next time that dude goes to slide, knock the hell out of him. I'm talking about spear him. Teach him a lesson he'll never forget. That's what I would absolutely do.
He might not. He might
get me kicked out of the game. I don't give a damn, dude. I'm coming in like seeking missile concussion.
He might know that was a one and done though, and that's why he pulled it out in the championship game.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna late hit the hell out of him if I'm Wake Forest on probably the next play. I'm gonna call a quick timeout. Call the guys over. Hey guys, here's the thing. Or actually, I guess he wouldn't have to call a time because he scored. Here's the thing. The next time they get the ball, within the first 2 or 3 plays, Pickett better get late hit. And I mean an obvious late hit. I'm talking about when they picked up Jim McMahon and picked him up and pile drived him into the ground. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Pick him up, pile drive his ass.
There's a reason he doesn't remember when he goes to the mailbox.
I wasn't sure if he was down or not and just walk off the field. Especially when it was 45-21 in the fourth. Dude, yeah, I'm going after you, baby boy.
Pickett did get hit hard a couple times, but nothing like you said.
Not hard enough. I have nothing against. I actually like Pickett. I actually pull for Pitt. I think they're fun. I love the classic Pitt unis, and when they wear those, I'm in. When they wear the goofy wannabe New England Patriot type new shiny new, I'm out. But late hit, baby, late hit. That'll cure all that crap. Do the old clothesline like freaking Dick Butkus used to do.
I doubt we'll see that again. If I had to guess, I'm
if
sure.
I was on the sidelines, you would.
No, him trying that stunt.
Oh yeah, he won't pull that again.
They would actually have video of me coaching. Were you or were you not coaching the clothesline move? Yes, I was. Enough is enough. Bobby, what game do you have your eye on, sir?
I'm looking at 49ers -3, pretty big. The 49ers are, believe it or not, they're pretty good right now. And I know Deebo Samuel's out today, but they still got a lot of offensive weapons. And I still think they get it done. Elijah Mitchell's been running the ball really well. Ayuk's still a good receiver. And that pass rush is pretty good. And it'll be good today against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. I definitely think the 49ers will cover that 3-point spread. And I think they'll do it by a pretty wide margin.
I've got one coming in already. This is a half-point PPR. Just kind of go around the horn. Joey, I'll start with you, and everyone just give you their take. You starting Jamal Williams or David Montgomery? Or Javonte Williams?
You know what? Actually, I'm going to take the latter and go with Javonte Williams. And reason being, it's going to be an ugly game in Chicago. Downpours. They're not even running backs. Sometimes on that Chicago grass, a lot of mistakes have been made. I don't think Montgomery has the biggest day against a pretty good defense. I do really like Javonte Williams with Melvin Gordon being out. If the Broncos are going to have any success, they're going to have to run it against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs defense has been vulnerable at times. I think Williams is getting better and stronger as the season goes on. So that would be my choice.
Tones?
Yeah, I like Javonte Williams as well without Melvin Gordon today, especially he's banged up and he's listed as doubtful for tonight's game. I think that opens the door for Javonte Williams, who really had a nice week last week. You've seen his big playability, and I think this week
Melvin Gordon was actually put as out, isn't he?
He could have been moved as out. I looked this morning and
I think so.
He was trending down, so I'm guessing he's out. But
I'm pretty sure I saw that yesterday because I have him in a league and he was expected to miss.
Yeah, he's expected to miss, and yes, he is officially out. It says it with the hip shoulder, so that does open the door completely for Javonte Williams. I think Jamal Williams has a nice day, but I still think that goofball Dan Campbell finds a way to get other pointless running backs involved and kind of take some glory away from Jamal Williams. So the easy answer should be Jamal Williams. I'm going Javonte Williams because I think Dan Campbell is just a goofball and screws that one up.
Bobby, what say you?
Yeah, I wasn't even aware that Gordon was going to be out today, but that'll shift my answer. I'll take Javonte Williams.
He is ruled out, by the way.
Okay.
I do have that confirmed.
Yeah, I like Williams and today Javonte Williams. Today as your starting running back. But truthfully, I think all of them wouldn't be bad options. I think all of them should reach double digits today. But if I had to take my choice, I'd say Javonte Williams.
All right. I think I might have cut somebody off. Were we talking about something before that? Sorry. I was in my own world.
I think maybe the Bobby San Fran game. Or were we done with that?
That might have been it, yeah. I was pretty much done. That was all I had to say, really. I think the 49ers will cover, though.
I got another one coming in really quick. Go around the horn real quick. Are you starting Brandon Cooks or Devontae Smith, Joey?
Brandon Cooks is going to get a lot of targets, like you say, and he actually had a pretty good game while they were in it last time against the Colts. Devontae Smith, though, is not bad choice either way. I'll go Brandon Cooks just because I feel like he's going to get a garbage time TD, and the targets will be up. So I'll go with Brandon Cooks.
Tones, are you going with Sony Michel or Saquon Barkley?
I'm going with Saquon Barkley here. I know that, I alluded earlier in saying that Barkley might struggle and whatnot, but at the end of the day, if you bench Barkley and he goes off, I feel like his ceiling is a lot higher than Sony Michel's by day's end. You might get 20 to 25 carries out of Michel, but that'll only equate to 60
Has
to 70.
Henderson been ruled out, by the way, because
in the mini mash report earlier, it said he's trending down, so he's listed as doubtful right now. I don't think it's officially ruled as out right now, but in other words, at this point of the game, if you're listed as trending down, it's not good. But he is planning on testing it in pregame. I don't think that's going to go too well. So, I just go Saquon over Sony Michel. Even if Sony Michel ultimately ends up starting, I don't see his yards per carry volume that high.
Even though Barkley hasn't rushed for more than 57 yards all year long.
Yeah, his receiving game, he's a threat in that. Against the Saints, he had almost 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. So he could still make big plays. The thing is, the Giants' offense is just trash, and they might even rely on him more today without Daniel Jones, actually. So his touches should be up, and I like him to try and do more with his touches than Sony Michel. I feel like Michel's yards per touch is a lot more limited than Barkley's.
Bobby, what say you on that same one?
That's a tough one. I don't think either one's a terrible option. I think there's a little bit more upside of Saquon Barkley, but I think when you look at Michel's matchup, if he is starting today in place of Henderson, he's going up against the Rams are going up against a pretty bad Jaguars team, and I think if they get out to an early lead, they'll start running the ball quite a bit. So I think it will end up being pretty close, but I'm a little bit leaning towards Michel just based off of that. I think the Rams will get out to a pretty sizable lead, and they'll just start running the ball with him.
This, by the way, is Cookie Roo. It's her first appearance on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Cookie Roo, the armchair Airbud, we'll call him. Armchair.
Nothing but a crap machine, let me tell you.
Hey!
Oh man, that is a beauty of a pup. We love Cookie Roo.
Cutest thing on this show, that's for sure.
I thought you said he wasn't coming on. No, I'm kidding. I thought, oh man, Cookie Roo.
Yeah, she's a literal handful. We've had her here about 2 weeks, and she's already gotten a lot bigger than when we first had her. So
I've seen the pics. I'm like, holy crap, Cookie's growing quite greatly in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have her out in the yard working in about 3 weeks. So.
She's got to be in the updated armchair holiday picture whenever that comes out.
By the way, anyone know what jersey I'm wearing today?
Is that a Jeremy Shockey?
Seattle Seahawks jersey? Seahawks jersey?
Yeah, it's Seahawks.
Is that Largent?
Largent?
It's Steve Largent.
Yeah.
Number 80 in your guide, number 1 in your heart. Steve.
I couldn't see the sleeves. I just seen the 80 with the blue.
Who ended up I think he's still in Congress. He ran for Congress and won. I believe he's still there.
I'm doing some research to see his status.
I have no idea what his political leaning is or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that he ran and won. Hell, if it was in Seattle, he's probably a libtard. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into our locks and your one big thing. Joey, start us off.
Yep, a game I talked about quite a bit today, and I'm going to continue to be on that train. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are a more complete team than the LA Chargers. You got the west to east movement. I'm going to give up the 3, and I'm going to be very high on them. It won't be a blowout, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. Bengals will put up at least 30 points. And if the Chargers can keep up, kudos to them. But I think that team is in full stride right now with the plethora of weapons they have. Looking to love to see what the Bengals do there, and actually could get to 8 wins and be right there with Baltimore. So that division will keep getting more interesting. My big thing is Minshew. He's going to have a big day. against the Jets. I think Gardner Minshew, he's looking fly as ever with that handlebar mustache coming through the gates this morning, as he always does. So I think just like his, flash, I think he does that on the field. He throws for 3 touchdowns today and leads the Eagles to a big win for them in the hunt in the wild card. So Minshew Mania is back.
And Tones, what say you?
I don't recommend starting Gardner Minshew in any fantasy leagues.
I didn't say that.
I do believe Gardner Minshew is actually going to help out Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith, because he is Charlie Checkdown, right? He's not going to go off galloping for 60 yards rushing and help your fantasy stats, but just destroy Philadelphia's chances of winning. He will check down,
and do that against the Jets.
And as long as the Jets have a bad secondary, he should. I don't know if I would start him, but I'm more leaning towards starting his receivers because
that's why I got Dallas Goedert in today in my DFS as well. I feel like he'll just be leaned on a little bit there today. My lock of the day, I'm going with Joey's team. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts laying the 10 points on the road to the Houston Texans. I just think that this is an absolute massacre. I think it's an old-fashioned butt whooping. I don't think the Texans stand a chance in this one with their banged up roster and just a lost season for them. I think that they're going to try and continue to try and get a better draft.
I don't mean to catch off, but Joey, what was your lock? I didn't get it written down.
Bengals -3 home against the Chargers.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the Colts get the job done on the road today. They had a tough loss against Tampa last week at home, and I think they're going to carry over that pissed off steam, taking into Houston today and really just steamroll them. I think Jonathan Taylor is a big game. I think Michael Pittman Jr. is a big game. T.Y. Hilton. I think just about everybody on that Colts offense is a big game besides Nyheim Hines. He's absolutely trash. So if you do have Nyheim Hines, make sure you get him out of your lineup.
Man,
that was just
that fumble last week was, that fumble last week was just terrible, and he really cost the Colts
That's because he got $6 million a year, and he said, "I'm good. I'm content."
Yep. Now he's really
Bronco Mendenhall on him. He said, "You know what, man? What am I doing here trying to coach football, man?"
Yeah, and
I'm gonna write a book about nothing. I'll be all right.
I just think the Colts have a big game. And Texans don't have a lot left. All they really have is Rex Burkhead left in that backfield. Ingram's gone, David Johnson's gone, Lindsey's gone. Not that they were having good years, but they just don't have the bodies. And then my one big thing, when it's all said and done, and this one starts today, I really think, I don't know if they get the job done today, but I like the chances that the Washington football team end up in the playoffs again. That 7 seed is wide open in the NFC. It's really a bunch of bad teams competing for that right now. It's waiting for one of these teams to kind of start doing the right thing, and Washington's been pretty hot the last couple of weeks. So look for them to stay alive in the playoff picture and try and make a name for themselves today in that playoff.
Are you calling for them to get the W today in Vegas?
I think Washington actually does get the job done in Vegas today. It's not my, not my lock of approval by any means, but I like Washington getting 1.5 to 2 points on the road in this one. They've been playing a little better football, so I like them on the road.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, Stephen Trosh is with us, and he will have us the MASH report. And what is the hell is that? What do you got going on there?
I couldn't tell his normal versus the pillow. It looks
Minshew Mania. I'm out of here.
Mississippi mustache is coming for it. Everybody.
See you, fellas.
Kiss me.
ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz, touchdown! Preston scores the touchdown, and now it's Bowden's decision, and he sends Mowry onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Mowry. This game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie.
A deep throw by Lawrence, a lot of contact. Justin Ross broke free from it.
He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson. Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy, and Trevor Lawrence knows. Throw it up against that single coverage. Give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball.
If you're a fan of the ACC, pull up an armchair. You're home. Weekends in the fall just got a hell of a lot better. Saturday mornings, it's Dixie Football Nation. We talk SEC, ACC, the Big Ten, and more. It's the only true Southern football kickoff show. You don't want to miss it. Saturdays, the Armchair Quarterbacks have got you covered all football season long.
No flags on the field. It's a miracle.
Mr. Rippemoff?
Yes, Dorothy?
A reporter and crew from News Center 7 Wastebusters are here to see you, sir.
News Center 7.
Wastebusters. They expose mind-boggling waste of taxpayers' money right here in the Miami Valley.
What do they want with me?
They said you sold the government a ballpoint pen, sir.
So?
For $1,000.
Well, it came with refills.
And a jar of paper clips for $2,000.
They were multicolored paper clips.
Uh-huh.
Red ones, blue ones.
What should I tell the Wastebusters, sir?
Do they have lights and cameras?
And the ballpoint pen, sir.
Tell them I went out my window, down the fire escape, and then booked down the street screaming like a madman.
I don't think they'll believe that, sir. Mr. Rippemoff? Uh-oh.
Get caught up with the big stories from around the world in sports in just a few minutes. It's Take Me Out to the Ball Game today, weekdays. Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube. Baseball, football, basketball, whatever's trending in the world of sports, it's on Take Me Out to the Ball Game today in just a few minutes. It drops weekdays. Take Me Out to the Ball Game today on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Take me out to the ball game.
I bought the fresh stick, just as you told me.
Good morning. Week 13? Holy crap. He got here fast. You're either fighting for your life in cruise control or got that sign for we'll get him next year. Welcoming on to the show is Mr. Stephen Troche. Stephen, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. I had finally a Saturday where I didn't have to worry about Miami, the Hurricanes losing. So that's already a win. Dolphins getting to face Mike Lennon and company today. If that is not another win, I don't know what to do as a Dolphins fan, but
y'all gonna laugh about this.
I'm hoping.
Last night we're sitting there on the couch and my wife asked me if Florida State and Florida, if they've already played today. I said it's championship Saturday. She gave me a look. I said, yeah, they said we could take the week off. There's no need to watch that again.
Yeah, I could do without seeing any more Florida this year, but you got one more bye game or one more.
I guess they'll be announcing bowl games later on today as well. So there's that going on.
I was say, speaking of championship Saturday, I am glad Hard Rock suspended betting because I was ready to bet a good amount of money on Georgia.
By the way, I'll get that up in the feed. If you are wanting to bet, we do have that link that'll get you 125% sign up on betus.com. So I'll get that in the link here in 1 second for everybody. Go ahead and hit us with the MASH report.
All righty. Well, we got a lot of injuries today and a lot of late breaking news. All right. So just starting at the top with Buccaneers. No major injuries there. I think actually Buccaneers Falcons game pretty healthy. Moving on, Cardinals. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are expected to play today. I have not checked the latest weather update, but last I saw it was supposed to be very cold and very windy, possibly rain and snow. Definitely avoid DeAndre Hopkins today. He is, even though he is playing, it's probably going to be limited snaps. Aside from that, they are looking pretty good. Still, Allen Robinson, Justin Fields, Damian Williams, not looking good to go today. So it is looking like the Andy Dalton and the Darnell Mooney show. On the Colts side, Forrest Buckner and Jack Doyle are questionable. And Texans, David Johnson is not going to be playing today. He is suffering from an illness, and they are also missing Danny Amendola. Still waiting on full confirmation on Brandon Cooks, but he looks like he is good to go. Vikings missing Dalvin Cook, left tackle Christian Darrisaw today. Usually that would play a big part, but it is the Lions. So, and then Detroit, they are missing DeAndre Swift today. Otherwise, looking pretty healthy. Penei Sewell was questionable, but looking like he is good to go. Giants side of things, they are missing Daniel Jones, Caden Smith, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, and they also have John Ross and Kyle Rudolph questionable. And then Dolphins have Philip Lindsay and Adam Shaheen doubtful, and otherwise looking pretty good. Eagles, they are missing Jordan Howard is out this week. Boston Scott is questionable, but he is unlikely to play. As with Jalen Hurts, is looking like Gardner Minshew is going to be starting today. And he has the best spot possible against the New York Jets. They are looking pretty healthy today, aside from they are missing Mike White and Joe Flacco still. Zach Wilson getting the start, but other than that, looking pretty healthy. Corey Davis is questionable. We'll check on that at 11:30, a full confirmation. Chargers, Asante Samuel is out with a concussion, and Bengals, Riley Reif is questionable. And then on to Washington, J.D. McKissick is out this week, along with Landon Collins, Eric Flowers, Curtis Samuel, questionable. And then the Raiders, Darren Waller is out, and Deshaun Watson and Josh Jacobs are questionable. Even if Jacobs is a go, I am full fading him this week. I do not like that matchup. And then on to Jaguars, Shaquille Griffin is out this week with a concussion. James Robinson is questionable. We just received news this morning that Darrell Henderson is unlikely to play today for the Rams. That is a 4:25 kickoff. If you have him in your lineup, I would plan accordingly. He still has a chance, but even if he does go, it'll probably be limited snaps. So it is looking like it is a Sony Michel day, unfortunately. And then on to the 49ers, Deebo Samuel is out, Trey Sermon is out, and Fred Warner is questionable. Seahawks, Alex Collins, Rashad Penny, Travis Homer, all questionable, otherwise looking good. And then onto the Ravens, they are actually looking pretty good here. Patrick Queen is questionable. And mostly their defense is questionable. And then Steelers are missing Joe Hayden and Isaiah Buggs, defensive end. And finally, Broncos, big one is Melvin Gordon is out. Javonte Williams, anybody who has been holding him all season, namely me, we finally get to fire him up with full confidence. Assuming that Quinn Meinerz, Bobby Massey, and Garrett Bowles all play, they are all listed as questionable right now. Chiefs, Lucas Niang is out, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is questionable, but he reports this morning that he is likely to play.
All right. That about does it for the MASH report. If you could throw us your DFS lineup of integrity, sir.
Actually, let me get that pulled up 1 second.
I do have a question that just came in. Where's it at? We're here on Twitter. Here we go. Speaking of what you just mentioned, are you starting Sony Michel or David Montgomery? Bobby.
That's a tough one. I really don't think the Bears are going to get much going on offense today, whether that's passing or running the ball. I know Andy Dalton and I know Justin Fields and Allen Robinson are out, but I still don't think they're going to get much going on the ground either. So I'm not terribly confident in that, and that's not me being biased. I just don't think the Bears are very good. And the other one was Sony Michel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sony Michel.
Right.
I feel a little bit more confident with him today, given that Darrell Henderson's probably going to be out, and that the Jaguars defense isn't very good. So that, like I said earlier, the Rams are probably going to get out to an early lead.
I also feel like even if Henderson does play,
it's going to be limited.
There's a good chance they pull him early.
Yeah. He's not necessary. They don't need him to play really today. I mean, no game's a gimme in the NFL, but they're going up against the Jaguars, so
right.
I don't think Henderson's going to be make or break in that game for him. So I like Reynolds, or I like Michelle a little bit more today.
I think you could be kicking yourself right in the keister if you end up benching Michelle. That's the way I look at it. I think he'll get a solid game. He'll probably get in the end zone once, probably get 70 to 80 yards, maybe even crack 100 if the game gets out of hand. But you could be looking at David Montgomery getting 20 carries and not even cracking 50 yards. They're going to be playing in the slop too today. Steven, do you got your DFS of integrity ready?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. What you got?
All right. So starting up at the top, I got quarterback Taylor Heineke at 5,600. And then I got Joe Mixon at 8,100. I am just like he has just been so solid every single week. I am rolling that train until wheels fall off. Jamal Williams, I'm rolling him at 5,400 with DeAndre Swift out today. Should see a heavy dose of him. Van Jefferson at 5,300 with Darrell Henderson possibly out, and just with like the new look of that offense, he's been getting a lot of work. I like the upside there against Jacksonville. Mike Evans at 6,700. I think that passing game is going to rebound today, and I like the pivot from Mike Evans, from Godwin to Mike Evans. I have Adam Thielen at 7,300. And then I have Foster Moreau at 2,700. He's filling in for the injured Darren Waller today. Derek Carr loves to target the tight end, and he has a good rapport with Moreau. Then I have James Conner at 5,900. The fact that they're getting that full offense back today, and that just the game script of the wind and the snow and the rain. I love the running game today. And then I finish it off with the sorry about that. Seahawks defense. Giants are missing. Seahawks are missing Deebo Samuel today, and it is in Seattle. I just said he's really been making that offense go, and I think they could struggle today without him.
All right, the DFS of integrity. So that's if you want to hear the other lineups, just rewind it. We gave ours in the first hour. All right, so give me your cold and bold prediction, sir.
Well, first one I touched on a little bit. Joe Mixon today is one of my bold predictions. Especially for DFS, it's like the field seems to be pivoting to the cheaper running backs, namely Sony Michel, Antonio Gibson, and Elijah Mitchell at 6,000. And Joe Mixon right now is currently projected at being rostered in the 8.5% of lineups. Even though he's at 8,100, there is value across the board today. I love that upside, and I love the floor. Another one I'm looking at is not super cheap at tight end, but I love the upside again. Logan Thomas at 4,000. He started the season out as a $5,000 tight end. He is back fully healthy. He gets a great matchup against the Raiders in what should be a high scoring game. They like this game as the third highest total on the slate. Just plain and simple, he is way too expensive to be a $4,000 tight end. I'm going to have a lot of shares of him today, and I'm going to be loading up. I like my cold prediction today. There seems to be a lot of attention on Darnell Mooney today with Allen Robinson out and the home matchup. But once again, I just don't like the game script. Arizona's defense is one of the best in the league. I just don't think that the Bears will be able to get anything going on offense. And if they do, it'll be through David Montgomery. I want to be fading Darnell Mooney today. If you have him in your lineup, like if you have him in your weekly lineups, I'd try to see what other options you have. And just like if you have a ceiling play, I'd throw him in over Mooney.
All right. See here. So that takes us to our DFS team build, and I believe it's my turn to go first. And I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this whole thing, but I'm going to save us some money when I do this. So I am going to go with the Mississippi Mustache and Gardner Minshew, just $4,000 at quarterback, just $4,000 at quarterback. And I am going to see that and get us our tight end at 4,500 with Dallas Goedert. Check down Charlie's going to be chucking it around. I think he's going to be, look, we're going to have to make up the difference with our other positions, but $4,000 for a quarterback, that's hard to pass up. So what the hell, why not?
Especially one against the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Going gets if he gets 2, maybe even 3 touchdown passes, he has paid dividends for you. And I'm hoping at least one of them is to go there. I would go Devontae Smith there, but my concern is he doesn't have that great of a game, and then you spent too much money on one of your wide receivers. So, Steven, I think it would be your turn to go next. Where are you going?
Well, I mean, I was just about to make the point with how cheap we're going at quarterback and, not even spending up a tight end that much. We could probably fit Cooper Kupp and one of the higher end running backs in here. So I'm going to go Cooper Kupp. He's $9,000. It's actually a price reduction from the previous weeks, and you should see a little bit of boost in target share. They're at home, and when I know this stat's been floating around the NFL, but when Stafford is facing teams over 500, he is his winning percentage is 250 or something similar. Jaguars are the complete opposite of that, and they are missing their top cornerback. I think that offense gets back on track today. Cooper Kupp explodes at 9,000.
All right. Bobby, what say you?
I'm going to save you guys a little bit more money. I'm going to go with another cheap option, and that's Josh Reynolds at 3,400. I really like his matchup today against the Vikings secondary. And like I said, he had 16 points last week. He had a big play. He was a huge target for Goff in LA, and it's weird because he went to the Titans and was expected to take over the wide receiver 3 role there, and he ended up getting cut. He requested to be released, but it's because he just didn't play at all. But I think he has a connection with Goff, and I think he has another big day today for 3,400.
Save us even more money. I'm gonna go Jamal Williams with the Detroit Lions. We're going to be able to spend like $30,000 on our defense. $5,400, pretty reasonable, especially considering the fact that DFS, we all know it's all about the PPR, and he will catch balls out of the backfield. So $5,400 for Jamal Williams.
Well, Bobby, you're up. I just added Joe Mixon to the lineup. That I've already said enough on him. Your turn.
All right. Let's see. Do we have another spot for a running back or no?
Yeah, we got a flex.
We got a wide receiver, a flex, and a defense is what we have.
Give me Jonathan Taylor then. Why not? We got the money to spend. Let's get Jonathan Taylor.
I'm not sure if we will.
It'll be
tight. We can make it work.
Let's see. If we need to change it, we will.
We need a defense and a receiver now.
How much money we got left?
Not much.
6,400, I believe.
Yeah, 3,200 per player. So let me see what's down in around the 3,000 range. First of all, let me see. Is there a defense that we could that's actually worth having?
33 is the
right. There's some decent ones at the 32, 33 range, but I'm looking more of the fact that you do that, then you only have 3,200 for a receiver. Do you
punt to? I mean, like that. Like that's the thing. Usually, I love to just punt defense, but I am not touching the Lions, Texans, Jaguars, or Falcons today.
Well, that's exactly, and I'm not touching Washington's going to give up a ton of points. They're going to get the Jets suck. The only thing you could do if you did the Bears at 2,600, it is going to be in sloppy weather. You might get lucky. What's the weather supposed to be like in Miami today?
Like weather should be great in Miami, but that is also really limiting us on the for receiver. I would say either Bears or Seahawks at 27. That gives us the most. That's the lowest I'd go, and that gives us the most flexibility for receiver.
Well, I'm talking about the Giants at 2,700. San Francisco.
I don't.
San Francisco. What the hell? Let's just go with the Bears and just hope for the best in the rain. I doubt that's going to play well. We might revisit this. So whose turn is it next?
I think that is me. Well, we could really double down here, and there's one guy that I kind of like the upside of today. Quez Watkins, it's 3,600. Gardner Minshew loves to throw the deep ball, and we saw that Jalen Reagor is probably not going to be playing a lot of snaps for the Eagles going forward. Quez Watkins is next man up, and in terms of that deep role, if he throws some deep balls today, that's probably where we're going to see him. It is a big dart throw, but I mean the other options in that range are Tajay Sharp, DeAndre Carter, Brian Edwards, and Zach Pascal.
So the highest you could go is 3,800 with what we have going on right now. And yeah. What about Zacchaeus?
He has not been really saying he's not a high target guy. He is very, very touchdown dependent.
So you would take Sharp over Zacchaeus?
We just double check his target count. I really didn't dig too much into the deeper Falcons.
What about Zach Pasquale? So speaking of guys who catches touchdowns,
I don't hate it.
He's 3,500. Do you like him or do you like Watkins better?
Let's go Pascal. I mean, Watkins is more of a just correlation dart throw. So yeah, I like Pascal better, like individually. So yeah, I like Zach Pascal. That is the call.
So if you did that, you have 300. You could take the Steelers at home against Baltimore and hope for the best, as opposed to Chicago going against Arizona.
Could go Bengals at 28. Justin Herbert has had some not so great weeks recently.
I know, but that seems dangerous. But yeah, the Bengals is intriguing because of the West Coast, East Coast early kickoff thing.
And you get the correlation with Joe Mixon with like already in the lineup.
Bobby, we'll let you be the tiebreaker. Which one would you go with? You go Steelers or Bengals?
Or stay at the Bears?
You know, I could see the Ravens having a huge bounce back game. Lamar having a big bounce back game after last week, and them just lighting up the Steelers. I kind of like the Bears though, because I really don't see this being a high scoring game. You know, Kyler and Hopkins are still working back from that injury, so they're not going to be like quite 100% in flow. I think both teams are going to be on the ground a lot today, so the clock's going to be burning fast. I kind of like the Bears defense today amongst those three.
Okay. And as far as the other 300, I don't know where else we would put it at, because if you went, let me see what's available at tight end. No, you can't make a jump to tight end. What you could do is if we went down to Freiermuth at 4,200. Let me see what that looks like. If you take Goddard out, which is 4,500 right now, and you grab Freiermuth, who is expected to play, it's been quite good size of their offense, that would give you 4,100 at wide receiver if you wanted to go elsewhere other than Pascal. Now, what that leaves you with is Devontae Parker, and then the other guys that we just met. So is Devontae Parker worth jumping up there for? Steven, our resident Dolphin fan, do you feel better about Parker, or do you just want to stick with
the upside with Parker is there? I feel like that Tua Waddle connection has grown really strong the past few weeks, and I don't know what kind of volume he's going to see with the great matchup for Gaskin and Gesicki still in that offense.
But to win one of these things, you got to have a high upside, right?
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's put Parker in there. It still leaves us with 200, but there's nothing I don't think that we can realistically upgrade with that 200 unless y'all see something that I don't see. Because you could go David Montgomery over Jamal Williams, but I think Jamal Williams is going to have a better day.
All right.
So that'll be it. There's one other, but I still think that Steven made the right choice. You could go from Mixon to Eckler from 8,108, but yeah.
Oh, you're mixing better today.
Yeah.
All right. So just reading the lineup back, we got Gardner Minshew at 4,000, Jamal Williams at 5,400, Joe Mixon 8,100, Cooper Kupp 9,000, Josh Reynolds 3,400, Devontae Parker 3,900, Pat Freiermuth 4,200, Jonathan Taylor 9,200. And then Bears defense. It's 2,600.
That's what we got.
There's some high highs and some low lows in that lineup.
Yeah. It's
that's the goal. You're trying to win, like you're trying to get first place. And sometimes you got to be different to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because like we talked about, Parker has a bigger ceiling to be able to really blow up, as opposed to Pascal might get into the end zone once, maybe even twice. But how many yards is he going to get? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want like a couple of really long plays by Parker, and you're like, all right, now I've hit pay dirt.
True.
Bobby, it is your turn to give you your lock and your one big thing today.
My lock for the day, I'm going with that Cardinals-Bears matchup again. I'm going to go with the under on the point total at 42.5. I don't think it's a very high-scoring game, just with the weather conditions. The Bears are banged up on offense. Cardinals are still trying to get healthy coming off the bye week. So, I think the Cardinals could have a big day on offense. I think they could put up like 30-something points, but I don't know what the Bears are really going to do. They're limited by injuries, weather, and just being bad, truthfully. So, yeah, I like the under on that. And then my one big thing, I'm going to say, stick with that game. Kyler and Hopkins, they come back from their injuries, and they get a win today and hold that 1 seed in the NFC.
They said that was 42.5 or 42?
42.5, I believe. That's the last time I saw it.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what I have too. All right. Well, we will see you next Sunday, sir. Enjoy next Saturday off, as the Dixie Football Nation will not be here until we figure something out as far as if we're going to do a bowl game. Well, I don't know. Do you want to sit there and talk 90 minutes about Georgia and Alabama? I don't know.
All right. Well, you guys have a good one.
All right, brother. We're going to go ahead and take a really quick break. When we come back, start 'em, sit 'em. I got to get everything lined up, so I need a minute to catch my breath, so to speak. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks Handicappers.
The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Armchair Quarterback Radio. We cover the world of baseball from start to finish.
Baerga is 0 for 3. Left center field. Grissom on the run. The team of the 90s wins its world championship. A lineup of 90s world in the center field. Series. Just fittingly with a 3. He's done it again. Number 24. They are the world champions of baseball in 1998. Chance of a lifetime for Luis Gonzalez. 2-2, bottom of the ninth, game 7 of the World Series. Bases loaded. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. In the air to left, well hit. Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs.
Armchair.
You wouldn't believe how many guys wanted to play here. We had to beat them off with a stick. The Tech Cobb wanted to play. None of us could stand the son of a when we were alive, so we told him to stick it.
Anyone got a stapler? Got a lot of forms, and there's a slight breeze in here.
Because paperwork is dramatic. Catch it Thursdays on Weasel before it catches you.
If dating is the game, then marriage is winning the game.
Yeah, if you're playing in the women's league.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Clean. I mean, really clean. And it holds any set I want.
New beer-enriched shampoo, Body on Tap.
gives your hair super body, super hold.
Brewed with 1/3 real beer.
Wow.
But don't drink it. Just shampoo. It gives my hair super body, super hold.
And the shine of your life. It's the beer shampoo that does it.
That's body.
On tap.
Can't be taking advice from a nun and a hippie.
By all means, seek out the supreme wisdom of the junkie philosopher.
Good morning. Welcome back. CBS Sports Radio. We're in 3 different markets this morning, I'm being told. So hello, Ohio. Hello, California. And hello, Georgia. In California, well, I guess it's not as early as I thought. I had my head of the morning wake up show we do. I was like, man, California, man, you're scratching stuff still at that point. But I guess it's about 8:30 out there, so may not be too bad. Let's go ahead and get into the stardom situms. I've got one that just got inboxed to me, so let me grab that one so I don't lose it. Are you going Sony Michel? Or are you going Devontae Freeman today? It looks like it's a full point PPR. Not that realistically matters between those two.
I'm going to go Sony Michel just because I know, we know the usage is going to be there. We have seen Freeman lead that backfield in recent weeks, but that is just so back and forth. We don't know what it's going to look like from week to week. And it could be a Lamar week with 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. That you just the problem with Freeman is you don't know if this is the day that all of a sudden they just start, decide to feed Latavius Murray, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things. The one thing you do know is that Lamar Jackson's going to get his picks. Oh, here's an interesting one. Carson Wentz or Russell Wilson. Can you believe we're asking that this year?
You got to go Carson Wentz. I mean, Russell Wilson has just not shown it in recent weeks, and that offense, that team just looks broken. I it's really hard starting any of them outside of a dart throw and DFS here and there anymore.
Yeah, I had a similar thing with this in the league that has no name. So I'm on a bit of a win streak, but I have to win out to make the playoffs in this league. And I think I have to get help too. I haven't looked at all the scenarios because I don't want to depress myself. So, but I know I can't absorb a loss. Now, the good thing is he started the 2 bozo wide receivers for the Saints on Thursday night and got like a total of 5 or 6 points. So I'm feeling good about my chances, but I had to choose between Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz. There was a third guy that was out on the waiver wire. I think it might have been Garoppolo, but anyways, the point is I ended up going with Carson Wentz. I can't trust Russell Wilson anymore. The reason why I drafted him was because this league has such screwy rules that a rushing touchdown is worth much more than a passing touchdown. But he's not even doing that this year. So I had to go with him, and I ended up putting Sony Michel in over James Robinson. Of course, I've got a reminder to check that particular lineup at 3:30 to see Robinson saying he's going to give it a go. But if everything's equal, if Henderson is inactive and Robinson does say he the literal term was he's going to try to play. I'm concerned about James Robinson getting like 5 carries. And next thing you know, he's walking back to the locker room.
Yeah.
And I don't have to have a big crazy day. I just have to have an okay day because he's already started 2 guys and gotten 5 points. So this is a league where I've got a bunch of dudes on a bye. I mean, it sucks, man. I got Nick Chubb, AJ Dillon, Chubba Hubbard, and Devontae Adams are all on a bye. I was like, are you kidding me right now? But thankfully, I do have I was able to scoop up some guys. I got lucky with the Chuba Hubbard thing, by the way. I picked him up last Sunday.
Nice.
I picked him up, and I just said, you know what? I forget who it was I was sitting on my bench. I was like, man, Hubbard's always hurt. I'm just going to grab him just in case, because I'm literally just scraping by in this league. And I saw CMC go down. I was like, yeah, baby. And then I go, they're on a bye. Wow, they're screwing me again. That league, I had to go get Jamal Williams, Alexander Madison, Sony Michelle. Those are my 2 running backs, my flex.
Ooh.
Yeah. Good matchups, but you're also going, yeah, I don't know about this, man. I don't know about this.
Actually, here, I got a quick one. Quick one for you. 2 players we just mentioned. Devontae Freeman or James Robinson?
Oh, man, what sucks about that is that the 1 o'clock game is – no, wait a minute. They're both late games, aren't they?
Yes, I think so, actually.
I think if they're healthy, I've got to go with James Robinson. But once again, it concerns me when if they say likely to play, that doesn't worry me. But when they say he's going to try to give it a go, I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing to me? Just sit down, man. Just don't play so I know not to start you.
It's not like the Jaguars are playing for anything.
Right. That's my point too. Is like, are you really going to go out there if he's banged up? What's it worth to you? And well, then again, it is Urban Meyer.
He's trying to force James Robinson out so he can he's forced to play Travis Etienne next year.
Yeah, I don't know what that contract situation is, but James Robinson would do well to get the hell out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Obviously, if they can hold on to him, they're going to hold on to him, because you can't guarantee that Etienne's going to be worth a crap till about week 10 next year.
Oh, I know.
It seems like that's the par for the course. Yeah, Brian, I get it. Florida State's won't go and get it out to a bowl game. They are talking about that there could be a bowl invitation to Florida State because they're having a hard time filling the slots, but I don't want them to go to a bowl game, to be perfectly honest with you. Then I have to feel like I have to watch that, and it's just going to be more of the same junk. I'd rather them just start getting ready for next year. Open up that portal, focus on recruiting, and go from there. All right. Let's go ahead and where are we at here? I lost my place. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Did I already ask this? No, I didn't ask this one. Devontae Freeman or Van Jefferson in a full point PPR?
That's actually an easy Van Jefferson for me. He's got this. He's got the volume. I love the matchup. I love the bounce back for that offense.
Yeah, I think you're right. And he did put in parentheses, I don't need a big score. The guy that I'm going up against isn't paying attention. So yeah, I either way, I get.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a situation where you just needed 2 points to win, then I'm starting the running back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, what the hell? Why not? All right. Are you going San Francisco's defense or Philadelphia's defense today?
Philadelphia's defense, 10 times out of 10. They have looked fantastic this year, and Zach Wilson is under center. That's all I need to know.
What's the over-under on a pick 6 from him today? That's what I would like to know.
I mean, I gotta be like a.
If you can bet on that, what do you think that is? Like 2,000 to 1, just because they're so rare. Probably.
I was gonna say maybe like plus 1,500, plus 2,000.
Yeah, that would be worth throwing. If I'm out in Vegas and I could bet on that, that would be worth throwing a few bones on. You normally can't find those on the apps or on the websites. But if there's obscure types of plays like that, it would be worth throwing some money at that. Okay, next one up is are you going CEH, Miles Sanders, or I guess that's it. CEH, Miles Sanders, or yes, or they also have Sonny Michel.
Oh, that is a tough one. I was all aboard Miles Sanders until you said Sonny Michel. That makes it real tough. If you are needing if you need the floor, go Sonny Michel. If you need the ceiling game, go Miles Sanders.
I take it that you're just not trusting CEH today.
Yeah, no, I don't like the matchup. I don't like he hasn't looked too right. He's coming off an illness. I'm going to lean Miles Sanders, though, actually. Screw it. Miles Sanders all the way.
I think that's where I'm heading to. Although I have no faith in Miles Sanders, and why should you? But the Jets are bad.
Do you think they're going to let Minshew run the offense today?
That is the most impossible question ever. What are the Philadelphia Eagles thinking today?
Yeah, coming from the same people who chose Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Common sense with that stable of running backs, you just pound the hell out of the ball, you're going to get the W.
Yeah.
Right? But then I could also see a circumstance where Minshew throws the ball 50 times today because they're going to we're going to open it up. I'm going to show you that I think Minshew's the guy. Okay. So I don't know, that's a damn near impossible. I think in my heart of hearts, I think they're going into the game plan today to feature Miles Sanders. He hasn't had a game this year,
Exactly.
He's due. But at the same token, here's another one: Saquon Barkley or David Montgomery?
David Montgomery. The Dolphins are going to blitz with everything they have, and they are going to stack the box. I don't see any way where Barkley has any room to run.
He's just a damn man. What a bust.
I had a startup dynasty league where I draft my first 2 picks for Saquon and Kamara.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis getting hurt really hurt Kamara too. Because
what kills me about that league is I my other 2 running backs I drafted were Darrell Henderson and Leonard Fournette. So it didn't hurt me too bad.
Yeah, but you'd love to have at least one of those guys in your flex, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, man, that is a disaster. This is one of my least favorite fantasy football years ever. It's just everything down is up is down. Nothing ever makes sense. And there's so many broken opportunities there. And then, of course, the injuries happen every year. So I can't complain about injuries because it happens every year. And you're just hoping your guy doesn't get hurt. But here we go. Pick 3 of these guys. And it's Elijah Mitchell, Hunter Henry, Noah Fant. How's he getting this third? Tyler Higbee or Zach Ertz? So I guess he's putting one of these guys in a flex and one in the tight end position.
I'm gonna go Ertz, Elijah Mitchell. I know Higbee was one of the other options. What were the 2 middle tight ends?
Is Hunter Henry, Fant, Higbee?
Give me Noah Fant.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because of game script, they could be behind.
Actually, before you move forward, just quick 11:30 injury updates.
Yeah,
for the Bears, it makes our defense look better. Roquan Smith is officially playing, and Kyler Smith and DeAndre Hopkins are officially active. Corey Smith is officially active. Nothing else majorly breaking.
Corey Davis is active.
Corey Davis for the Jets is active.
He still has to deal with Zach Wilson. All right. Let's see what the next one is. That one's kind of irrelevant because he's hurt. I think I know your answer to this one. Half point PPR, Saquon Barkley or Jamal Williams?
Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I agree.
I love him across the board today.
Okay. Full PPR. Mm-hmm. It has to sit 2 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of them you're starting. You have to sit 2. Lockett, Mike Williams, Pittman, DeAndre Hopkins, CEH, or Miles Sanders.
I am sitting DeAndre Hopkins, and I am sitting Tyler. All right, so I'm definitely okay. I like the sit is down to Tyler Lockett and CEH. I'm going to sit CEH in that scenario.
I think I'm going to sit both of those and take my chances with Hopkins. I'm going to sit CEH. I'm going to sit Lockett.
All right, so CEH is the constant sit, and then we're back and forth on Lockett and Hopkins.
Right, which
okay,
considering the weather, Hopkins could be a big gamble, but if you drafted Hopkins, you drafted him pretty high. I have a hard time sitting him. Of course,
I mean,
how the hell did this person get this team? Because a lot of these people that they're naming on here are second round picks. This is either a keeper league or there's some trades going on or something. All right. Gardner Minshew or Mike Glennon?
Oh, Minshew. Easy.
Zach Moss or Singletary? Which one are you taking the chance on tomorrow night?
Singletary. Zach Moss has been a healthy scratch past few weeks. If anything, Matt Breida is the running back to roster in Buffalo. Singletary for me.
Full point PPR, Gesicki, Knox, or Logan Thomas?
Ooh, that's a good problem to have. I'm going to.
This has to be a shallow league, and assuming these guys are out on the waiver wire.
I'm going to put Gesicki third in there just because we have Parker back. And we don't know. I don't think the Dolphins will need to throw too much today, which could hurt the upside of Gesicki. I'm going to go Logan Thomas, though. I think he has the highest floor and the highest upside. Bill Belichick is going to find a way to shut Knox down. He's been the top red zone target for Buffalo this year.
Knox, Kirk, or Van Jefferson?
Van Jefferson.
I agree with that one. Next one. What? Oh, okay. I thought they were asked. Sorry, I misread it. Godare with Minshew. I guess he's got the quarterback and the tight end. So he wants to know: do you start Godare with Minshew or Gesicki with Tua?
Godare with Minshew. I guess. If it was if the Dolphins were in a competitive matchup, it would be Tua and Gesicki, but I just don't think that they're gonna ask Tua when in the passing game to do too much today.
See, what did Brian just put in here? Is this anything of? No, it's just nothing. All right, so let me go back to Devontae Parker or Van Jefferson, full point PPR.
I'm going to go with Van Jefferson. He has the more stable role in the offense right now.
Josh Reynolds or Bateman?
Ooh. That's a really tough one. I love the talent of Bateman. I love the upside he could bring to that offense, but they are just not showing that they're willing to use him yet, especially with Marquise Brown and Andrews there. So I'm sitting Bateman in that scenario.
Minshew or Russell Wilson?
Oh, Lord.
God bless. Well, I can't believe we're even asking this question.
Yeah.
But it's a legitimate one. It's a legitimate one, to be honest with you.
This decade for you, if we're really talking about it.
Yeah.
Man, what kills me is I pulled up Ian Rappaport's Twitter and I just have a gif of Minshew just rubbing his mustache, staring at me, making this decision. Give me Russell Wilson. Sometimes
I think you have to. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, You don't even have anything to know to go off of what Minshew's look like with the Eagles. Yeah, I think you have to.
I know.
And it's not like he's got. Yeah, I guess you have to. Mooney or Devontae Smith? I think I'm
Another
going
tough one. If the weather weren't so bad, it would be Mooney, an easy decision. But give me Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I think so. Sutton or Bateman, excuse me.
Give me Courtland Sutherland. That I think Denver's gonna have to be passing a lot to stay up in that game.
McLaurin or D-Hop?
McLaurin. That's an easy one. I think he's in prime position to explode today.
Jacoby Myers or Russell Gage?
Ooh. Give me Jacoby Myers. And a bold call. He's going to score his second touchdown of his career this week.
Javonte Williams or Saquon Barkley?
Javonte Williams.
Carr or Heineke?
Once again, a good problem to have. I'm leaning Heineke in this scenario.
And a couple more, and then we'll get to the picks. Is OBJ playing?
I didn't see him on the injury report, so I'm assuming he is good to go.
Okay, because he was banged up earlier in the week, but I think it was something minor. OBJ or CEH?
Actually, here I'm reading it now. He is OBJ is questionable to play.
But you would know.
Like what I'm seeing here is even if he does play, he's going to be limited, and he's still a little bit banged up. So I'm going to go CEH.
Okay. And Brandon Cooks or James Robinson, assuming Robinson's healthy?
I'm still going to have to go Brandon Cooks there.
All right, let's go ahead and go over into our locks and our one big thing. Before we get into the locks, are there other games that have your interest that is not lock related?
The first one that's sticking out to me is Dolphins 6.5. I made my mistake of betting on the Dolphins earlier in the season. I'm not making that my lock ever again, but still 6.5 points with the matchup. That feels way too low. I also like the Eagles. Actually, no, I like the total on the Eagles game over 44. That both bad defense, not bad. The Jets are bad defense, and I just think there's enough talent on offense on both sides for some points to be scored.
Yeah, the one that's kind of got my eyes. I think the Rams will get that team total 30.5 against Jacksonville. I know it's high. I hate taking it that high in the NFL. I could see that game getting away from Jacksonville in a hurry. And they don't ever play out well out in Los Angeles anyways. Even when they had good teams. I remember some bad Chargers teams beating some good Jaguar teams out in Los Angeles. So yeah. I don't know, or I guess it was San Diego at that point. But the other game that I like, tomorrow night, I'm really starting to think that the Patriots should not be an underdog. I get it that it's in Buffalo.
Yeah, I feel you.
But the Pats have looked really good. And if it's as low scoring as it's being projected with 41, I haven't seen what the weather is, and I would definitely look in that before I put any money in it. But if it's bad weather, and 41 is the over under, you're talking about just a minuscule.
Yeah, it's possible rain, snow, strong winds, 20 to 40 mile an hour winds.
Wow. Yeah, give me the Pats all day then. Because bad weather, bad wind, that plays into the Patriots' hand.
I mean, like you say that, but like you've also got Josh Allen, who is a massive quarterback, and one of the things they always talk about with the quarterbacks is hand size, and that is for these scenarios because where did he go to school? Wyoming. He almost grew up in these conditions. This is
no. I get that, but the point is, if the wind's really bad, you want to have a running game to lean on.
Oh no, I agree, but the Bills they do have a good short passing game.
I definitely think Josh Allen is more equipped to play in that weather than Mac Jones from I mean, hell, he's from just a block or two away from us here. But my point is the Patriots are built to play in the cold weather. The cold weather Bills aren't really meant to play in the cold weather. It's really strange. Thurman Thomas ain't walking through that door, is all I'm saying.
I feel you.
I won't make that pick on that game because we're doing the game tomorrow night. Tones and I are going to be bringing all the action at 8:00 Eastern tomorrow night. But because of that, I won't make that pick. But the Patriots are very enticing to me. All right, what is your lock of the day?
So let me just get the ones for Tones and Joey first, just so I don't double up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So Bobby had Arizona, Chicago in the under.
Yep.
Joey had Bengals -3, and Tones had Indianapolis -11.
All right. Well, let me double check mine. Mine was Bengals -3.
Yeah, I really like that one too.
All right. So I'm going to lock in. I'm going to go Bucks -11. I think this is a great bounce back spot for them. They're in a dome. I really think they're going to trounce Atlanta today.
All right, let me go. Let me see here. And there just aren't very many games that I'm really loving today. I'll tell you what, give me the team total of the Las Vegas Raiders at 24. I feel like that's very low. I think that's going to be a shootout. I'll take Las Vegas team total over 24. And you had what again?
I had Bucks.
Bucks minus.
Can 11. I change it? There was one I saw that I see that I like a lot better. Sure. I'm going to go Ravens -4.
Baltimore -4.
Big Ben just looks absolutely washed. That team is on the downswing.
Never thought I'd see the day where Baltimore would be a 4-point favorite in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, tell me about it. Then you win Las Vegas team total over 24.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know about you, but I feel like that's going to be a high scoring game. And I almost want to take the full total on it, but
that was up there with me.
I'm going to play it safe and say that the home team puts up a good amount of points, and that way I'm not sweating both teams. What is your one big thing today, sir?
One big thing we are going to see. I mean, like it was already taken as a lock, but I'm just going to say it again. Bengals are going to run away with this game, and I think they're going to start to show that like they are for real in terms of playoff contenders. And I can't believe I'm saying this, Brian. I don't want to hear it from you, but I think they are really going to put a stronghold on the AFC on the AFC today.
Yeah, I think both your teams can end up in the playoffs. We were talking about this in the first hour. Miami's got an easy ass schedule.
Yeah, but like those 7 losses are they have to win every single one of them to even have a chance.
I think they got to win all but one. I think you can get in with 8 losses. 9 and 8 could get you in. They've got 2 games at the end of their schedule that are going to be difficult. Tennessee
Patriots are one of them.
Right. Patriots, they finished the season off with. They're also in Nashville. Titans should be fairly healthy by then. There's talks and rumblings they could have Derrick Henry by then. With that being said, even if they were to lose to Tennessee, they could run the table because the Patriots, and I was talking about this earlier, if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm a Patriots fan tomorrow night. I want the Patriots to not need that game whatsoever come week 18, and they're just putting their bums in there, and you can sneak in the back door with the 7 seed.
Belichick learned that lesson when, Wes Welker tore his ACL in week 17, about 10 years back or something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm pulling for the Patriots tomorrow night. Now I want them to lose somewhere along the way because I don't want them to be fighting for the first
home field of Titans.
Right. But Belichick's not going to put his starters out there if it's a difference between the 2 or 3 seed or 2 and 4 seed or 3 and 4. The only way he's going to risk it is if there's a chance that they could get the 1 seed. All right, my one big thing today is the Minnesota Vikings are going to continue to be a thorn in everyone's side and continue to stick in the playoff race, and I do think that they get the W today. I don't know if that's big, but honestly, the slate today is kind of crappy, and all the other takes have already been taken. I don't really have anything else. I'll tell you what. My one big thing today is the Dolphins get another W. They stay in the AFC playoff race, and it'll start getting very interesting. It seems like they play the Jets for like the next 6 weeks. So the Dolphins definitely have a team it's one of those teams that's just good enough to be able to stick. But I'm with you. If they needed to have won a couple of those games that they dropped earlier in the season, and they'd be feeling much better about their opportunity.
Oh yeah.
But this is when you start pulling for all the AFC teams that are in the race. That this is when you become a huge Washington football team fan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. And whoops, that was almost not good. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, and we'll see y'all next week. Next week, week 14. It is some in that one league. The playoffs start next week because I forgot that there's the 2-week championship in the Superbot. And so that screwed everything up. I had to go back and change a bunch of crap because I screwed up between week 17 and week 18. I got it all confused. So that's why there was the change. So that's on me essentially. But and in most of the leagues, it just opened up your opportunity to make the playoffs. So
cool.
I didn't reduce any. I just had to make it fair. I was like, my God, what have I done? Look, in that one league, the championship was going to end up, the final week was going to be week 18. Yeah. This is difficult as it is without having to worry about am I starting Minshew or am I starting Mike Glennon like that one point.
I'm pretty sure that's the one league I'm actually doing well in this year.
I'm so ready for fantasy baseball to come back. All right, brother. We'll see you next week.
Good luck, everyone.